All right, so I don't know if I tell you this, but sometimes I do just go on YouTube randomly and I just start watching other people's videos on learning Cebuano and all that stuff, teaching the language here and there, vocabulary, blah, 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 same old thing, right? And I stumbled upon this one video that you can find this YouTuber on, right? She is a female, obviously, and this female uses like sex appeal to get viewers because sex fucking sells, and it's the truth. So, sex sells, guys. Like, it's just out there. Good thing I'm not attracted to females. But anyway, this video when I was watching it, I noticed that there were errors that I thought there were. And by the power of the internet and the freedom of YouTube, I decided to make a video, I guess a criticism video about this. And I just want to put in my thoughts and my opinions and my 2 cents, right? And this one, I actually put this because I can tell you personally, like evidence of why I think what I'm about to tell you is what it is, right? Um, I guess I should title this as like a common errors video, maybe? Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, let's get started because I'm sleepy as fuck and I want to do a video before the weekend is over. So I'm gonna do this. The first word that the female put was bed, right? Which, okay, bed. And again, just to remind you that Cebuano is a language that is rich with vocabulary, right? It got enriched after language contact with Hokkien, language contact with Tagalog, with other Austronesian languages, Sanskrit, Malay, Spanish, English, Chinese, a lot of other stuff, right? Hindi, via Sanskrit. But anyway, long story short, bed, right? She said katre, right? Katre. Now, katre is, you can say that, you can say kama, which is what I also say, and again, it depends on your idiolect or your dialect, right? Me, I hear kama more often than katre. Like, I seldom or I rarely hear katre. I hear kama a lot more. And if you want to get fancy, because I do hear this also, higdaan, right? It comes from the verb higda, but if you add that an ending in there, it changes the verb to a noun, which higda means to lie. Now, if we change the verb to lie into a noun, a place to lie down or an area to lie down. It doesn't necessarily need to be a bed. It's just wherever you want to go and sleep. That's kind of like your higdaan. That's your area of sleeping. It could be a on the floor, it could be on a roof, it could be in, I don't know, in a public train. I don't give a crap. It's just your higdaan, right? It's a place where you claim to be your sleeping area, okay? Or your sleeping space. It can also just be like a cot or a mattress, whatever, right? Higdaan, it can be synonymous with kama and katre, right? And again, this female's probably from Cebu City, so her dialect will differ from my dialect of Cebuano, which I'm from Davao. All right. Bedspread. Okay, now this is something I also want to touch and I guess enlighten y'all about language contact with English. Okay. Now the concept of bedspread had been around even before the Americans came to colonize the Philippine Islands, and a lot of Cebuano speakers, especially those who don't know Spanish or who weren't educated in Spanish, would never have guessed that cobrecama is the actually Cebuano word for it. Instead, they would probably just use English and say, oh, we'll just borrow from English and take bidsprid as a bedspread. Instead of cobrecama, or the one I don't hear is sobrecama. Apparently that exists, but cobrecama is a word that I would use for bedspread instead of borrowing from English because cobrecama is an older word. It's more original than bedspread. And funny thing was, it's spelled bedspread, but she pronounced it as bedspread. And I want to talk about this phonological feature that Cebuano has with its phonology, because Cebuano, like any other language, has their own it has their own phonological inventory, right? It has their own phonological set of sounds in the language, right? But in this case, because English being a Germanic language, and not just Germanic, but other languages have this too, the sound doesn't exist in Cebuano. The and the sound, right? Those sounds don't exist. So what happened was those sounds, the and the as in bedspread, that when it got transferred and borrowed into Cebuano, it had to fit Cebuano phonology. It had to fit, or it had to be, it had to conform into the inventory that Cebuano had of sounds. And the closest it got was the E sound, right? So from to E, we get B, spread, right? From bedspread, bedspread, because Cebuano speakers can't pronounce, or they don't have the and the sound. Those sounds, they never learned it. They don't have that sound, so it's a foreign sound to the Cebuano language, to the Cebuano speaking ear, and that's how we get bedspread, right? But I really encourage you to use Cobrecama. It just sounds more authentic than using a borrowed English bedspread, right? Next one is calendar. Now this is just a reminder, right? Because of the R that I underlined here, which is different from the American R, which is a curled tongue rolled back. So it's a curled retroflex R. And it was pronounced as calendario in the video. Calendario, albeit it's a borrowed word from Spanish. It's actually calendario, right? Calendario. You have to roll that R, right? Calendario. R. Don't retroflex the R. You have to roll it or trill it. It's a R sound, right? Calendario, not calendario. It's it just doesn't have a. If you say that to a Cebuano speaker, they'll pick up on that foreign sound, and they'll pick it up as, oh, well, there's a foreign accent somewhere in there, because that sound does not exist in Cebuano phonology. It's the R sound. And the same concept with chair, silya, right? In the video, it's pronounced as silya. The sound, silya. Now remember, the 5 vowels in Cebuano have one sound and only one sound. It remains consistent. That letra E has the same sound as it's called. Letra E, right? E. So instead of saying Celia, it's pronounced as Celia. You have to make that E. You gotta smile when you say that vowel. E, smile it. Smile when you say that vowel. E. It's not the lazy which is a short English vowel, right? Because that I in English has two vowels, a long and a short, which is E or I, right? And in this case, the speaker put in a short vowel sound there. Cilia, right? Cilia. But it's Celia. Celia. E. Okay? This is very crucial in learning another language. Not just Cebuano, but any foreign language. You need to know how to master those vowels, right? Just go ask people who are learning Danish, okay? Because I guarantee you Danish is a crazy language with so many vowel inventories, right? Cebuano is easy. It just has 5 vowel inventories. 5. A, E, I, O, U, right? And it's only going to be that. Dresser was one of another situation with bedspread, right? That I, again, the sound, it was borrowed into as an E, right? Because it didn't exist in that inventory when it got borrowed. And again, if Cebuano speakers grew up not knowing their language, right, or not knowing Spanish, they would assume to take the English word dresser instead of tocador, which is actually the Cebuano word for dresser is tocador, right? Not dresser or dresser, as some people will say, but tocador. And flower vase was another one too. So I read it as flower base, but it's actually flower vase, right? That V sound. Just note that that strong V doesn't exist in Cebuano as well. And I highlighted the F sound, that fricative, the F fricative sound, F, that doesn't exist in Cebuano. It's a constraint kind of fricative sound. The F doesn't exist in Cebuano. So what happened was we took the borrowed fa from Spanish and we made it into a p because it's a closer sound to our vowel or to our consonant inventory, the p in our phonology, p. When the speaker said florera, that's actually a Spanish word. So florera is a Spanish word, but plorera is a Cebuano word, plorera, which means flower vase. Mirror, samin, and salamin, right? The speaker, I'm assuming, is from Cebu City because samin is a Cebu City dialectal word versus salamin is a standard Cebuano dialect word, right? One thing about people teaching you their Cebuano language is that they will also tend to teach you their dialect that they speak, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's just that's the dialect they grew up. It's the dialect that they're used to. I tend to want to expose people more to the standard Cebuano dialect of the language because you would be easily understood and know more than other specific dialects. Now, for this one in specific, Cebuano City has a feature that loves to shorten words and be lazy with words versus the standard, right? Salamin. And salamin is what I'm used to hearing more. Espejo, I hear that sometimes, but it's not often used, except it does exist in the language, right? And this video is running long, so I'm going to cut it short. Clock, reloj, right? You can also say orasan. I hear both. Notice again how oras has that unending, making it into a noun, okay? Clock, reloj, or orasan. Reloj or orasan, okay? Same thing. And don't forget to roll that R. It's not orasan, but orasan, ra, okay? Orasan. And I think that's it. This video is running long, so I'm going to cut it from here.